everyone, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. I am Brittany if you don't know me, or you can call me Brittany Bats if you want to. So recently I had this little idea. Well, I was actually inspired by two different YouTubers that made this type of style of a video, and they asked themselves different questions. So I put together some horror themed spooky questions, and let's get started. I thought this would be fun to like kind of freshen up the channel, and also for October, you know, it's officially here, and let's get a little bit spooky together. So the first one is, why do you rewatch horror movies even when you already know the scares? This one's super good. So there's plenty of reasons why I would return to a movie. Most of the time it can be aesthetics, or maybe even it has my favorite actors, or even just purely because they're fun and it's enjoyable. The movie probably makes me laugh a bit. Like any Friday the 13th movie, those can always give me a good laugh, but also kind of spook me out just a little bit, but not too much, you know? So that's kind of a simple answer enough, I guess. This next one says, what makes a horror movie truly scary? This one's kind of tough because everyone has their own idea of what is scary. And for me, a lot of times it's psychological, but I also can be very scared of the paranormal. I don't like messing with like Ouija boards or anything like that. So if something involves that sort of thing, it's definitely gonna scare me. And even like home invasion films are like some of the scariest, because those are so, they feel so realistic and you never know if something like that could happen. So yeah, that's kind of a tough one. There's so many things that can be scary to me, so it really just depends on the person. The next one is, which horror creature would you least want to encounter in real life? Vampires, werewolves, or zombies? Why? That one, my first thought is werewolf, because of how fast a werewolf could really be. Like there's no way I could outrun a werewolf. And then they could like probably smell you and know exactly where to find you. Same for a vampire. They could detect you from miles away with your scent. So either of those. A zombie, if it's like a Walking Dead zombie, then I might have a chance. The next one is, what's more unsettling, supernatural or psychological horror? Oof. You know, I just finished watching Smile, and I feel like it has a little bit of both in a way. And that one is one of my favorite movies ever. But I would have to say, in some cases supernatural is a much scarier situation, because you're limited to any control over that situation. And with psychological, you could possibly help someone out, but yeah, I would probably say supernatural in this question, because it feels like you have no control of those sorts of forces. The next question is, have you ever watched a horror movie that you thought was too disturbing to finish? Yes. And there's one movie in particular that I did start it, and then I just couldn't even get like 30 minutes into it, I think. That was Grotesque. I'm not sure if anyone else felt that way, because I was actually recommended that movie by a friend, and I went in blind, but I was just so freaked out. I don't really know if I'm gonna go back to that movie and finish it anytime soon. If you have the stomach for that sort of thing, then by all means go for it. But me, that's something I can't look at. So the next one is, can a horror film without gore still be effective? Most definitely, 100% yes. I think a prime example of that would be The Strangers. For the longest time, I was always kind of like a butthead about that movie, like thinking it wasn't scary at all. Oops, sorry, I turned my camera off for a bit. But as I was saying, The Strangers is like a perfect example of that movie, because I think that if you don't put too much gore, you have a possibility of getting your film to become mainstream, and that can just bring a bigger audience, and it can definitely scare people. I know plenty of people that are super scared of The Strangers, for example, and I do find the idea and the concept very scary. And so yeah, it can definitely be scary. Next question, what was the first horror movie you ever watched? So I actually don't technically know which one was the first exact movie. I always say Halloween from 1978 though, because that's the first one I really remember being scared of. And especially, like, I remember as a kid really loving part 4 and 5. And so, because of Jamie. And so, that's one of the first. Or I would also say maybe even Child's Play might have been the first. Which horror movie ending shocked you the most? This one's super easy. For me, it's The Mist, because, I mean, come on, that ending is, if you want like your heart broken and ripped out and torn into shreds, watch that movie. I swear, every time I'm just like, man, you should have just waited just like one more minute. But it's really good because of the shock value, so that is always like gonna be engraved in my head. Which horror movie villain would you never want to encounter in real life, and why? Probably Freddy Krueger, because you can never escape him. I have his blood like right there too. You can't escape that guy. He will follow you everywhere, and then eventually you'll be too exhausted. You'll be way too exhausted. You'll have to fall asleep. So definitely Freddy. And lately, I feel like Art has been scaring me a lot. So maybe even Art the Clown. I wouldn't want to be near him. What's the most unsettling or disturbing horror movie scene you've ever seen? Ooh. Okay, there are two that come to mind, and I may have mentioned these before. But High Tension. In High Tension, that is, if you've never seen it before, it kind of is sort of like a home invasion movie. I don't want to give away too much. So the home is being, someone is barging in and attacking a family, and there is a staircase scene that freaked me out the first time I watched it, and still freaks me out. I almost feel like it's cursed. I don't even want to look at it. I get scared, to be honest, whenever on Tubi or something, when they show the little movie previews, and for High Tension, when High Tension comes on, I get so scared. I try to change it so fast, because I don't know, it gets me so paranoid. But anyways, there's that staircase scene, and then another scene I would say has to be from Martyrs. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Martyrs. That movie is a lot to take in. I say watch with caution. It's just so gory. There's so many sad moments as well. That's what makes it even harder to watch, because the character development is so well done. You're you're not like flooded with the character development, but you just understand the importance of what you need to know about each character. And it will pull on your heartstrings. It's very intense. So this is all the questions that I had. Say goodbye to Scully. And let me know if you enjoyed this. This was a little bit different for me. I would love to try this again if you want to, and this time have you all send me your own questions. And yeah, so let me know. I just want to wish everyone a happy and safe October. I hope everything goes well, and if you do any cosplays or dressing up, I hope everything turns out perfect. Thank you again for watching and supporting my channel. As always, I'm sending love. Goodbye.